Hassan, for a rich CV in terms of administration and governance. How, if you're confirmed for this position, how will you leverage your governance and public administration knowledge, experience, and expertise in your new role? Thank
you, Mr. Hassan. You are not going to answer that one. Take a pen and a piece of paper. Just the question is, how are you going to harmonize your rich experience in governance and administration with Iebc, which is on the elections? That's number one. So note all that we shall go to the end so that you answer all of them at one go. The next one is from Honorable Mushira, is the member for Ojoro Rock.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you, Nominee. I would wish to know what is this unique thing that you are going to bring to the Commission? That unique thing that you are going to bring to this Commission?
The Honorable Farah Maalim is a member for Dadaab in Garissa.
Well, Mr. Hassan, I have looked at your CV. It's very impressive, undoubtedly. I've seen all the awards you got on public administration, and I think we need people with that public administration background in this commission. My position is that you were there and did a fantastic job when we had the post-election violence in Rift Valley last time, and actually arrested quite a bit of that mayhem. We are increasingly getting other challenges as we progressively continue, and since then, except the election of almost every other subsequent elections, we had some kind of a violence. Given your background as a lawkeeper, as an officer, a law and order officer, how do you think you're going to, based on your own experience, make sure that we do not have a problem like what we had last time in terms of ethnic violence in the country or post-election violence? Thank you.
The next one is Honorable Dahoud Mohammed, member for Wajir East.
Thank you, Chair. I'll also say that I'm known to Hassan Noor Hassan, but I do not have any conflict of interest. My question, Mr. Hassan, is you are aware that there is a lot of petitions that have come to Parliament regarding your conduct, your person, and one of them is whether you are eligible to be a commissioner in the Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission. And the people who have written to us are citing Article 88 of the Constitution, specifically Article 88(2)(a) of the Constitution, and Article 88(2)(a)(2) of the Constitution. The first one is about whether you have stood up for election in the preceding 5 years. And the second one is whether you are a member of a governing body of a political party. I want you to tell us whether any of these bars to your nomination, whether you have been a member of a governing body of a political party, or whether you stood for election in the past 5 years, and whether this article of the Constitution bars you from being a nominee. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, the next one is Honorable John Makali, Kandui constituency.
Thank you, Chair. I have looked at the CV of Noor Hassan, the candidate, and you have actually a stellar career in the provincial administration. And I'm looking also at our electoral history. And when Kenyans were promulgating the 2010 Constitution, Kenyans had a lot of issues with the provincial administration, specifically in manipulation of elections, such that they had indicated that it needs to be restructured. Some had even said it needs to be done away with altogether. Now, as you appear before us to seek this particular position, what new thing are you bringing into this particular commission, taking into account that Kenyans have sour grapes with provincial administration and the way it was used in the past to manipulate elections? Secondly, a complaint has also been raised, and you also aware, like my colleague has said, there are several petitions that have been filed, and the allegation has been that your name was not on the original list. It was sneaked in courts. We will wish to know, we confirm that in the initial list that came up, you are not on that list, but in the amended list, did you have a hand in the compilation or came on the creation of that second list? Because it's raising credibility issues and trust issues. Thank you.
Now the next one is Honorable Karemba Mushangi of Runyenjes.
Thank you, Chair. And let me start by introducing myself. My name is Mushangi Karemba, Member of Parliament for Runyenjes. And Honorable Chair, my concern is what has just been raised by Honorable Makali on the issue of his name having been brought later. And I would wish that he accounts for any relationship that he might be having with whoever in this country. Thank you, Chair.
Whoever is a little bit general, it's good you give the specifics so that he's able to answer. Otherwise he will say, I'm not related to whoever, which may be true, but he's related to many other people. So who do you have in mind as his relative?
Honorable Chair, it is in the public domain and on social media that Mr. Noor is related to one Junet Mohammed. Can he substantiate of his relationship with Junet?
Thank you very much. I think he's noted that now he has a specific person and will be answering that. The next one is Honorable Otiende Amolo, Senior Counsel, the member for Arieda in Siaya County. Siaya or Mabe? Siaya County.
Siaya, of course. Mr. Hassan, you are not a poor man. Your net worth is stated as 502 million. I am interested to know so that maybe one day I might also be a rich man.
He's interested to know exactly how it came to 500. It is actually 600 and something. Then he seems to have liabilities in between and it comes to 500 million. The question is how, so that Otiende Amolo can borrow a leaf from you. Honorable Stephen Mogaka, West Mugrango, in Nyamira County.
Thank you. Thank you. Mine is an offshoot from, the first one is an offshoot from Senior Counsel Otiende Amolo. The nominee has served exclusively in public service. I want him to tell the country what is the highest remuneration he ever received from his assignment in the provincial administration, and how does that highest ever remuneration in the public service remuneration, how does it relate to the declared net worth? I have an accounting background and I'm not able to get a correlation with that. The second thing is to the nominee. The demographics of this country indicate that the young persons are the majority. Having served for the length of service the nominee has given this country, is it not time he gave way for this majority who are craving for opportunity to also serve? In other words, in his conscience, is it necessary that he takes up this position, given that the demographics weigh heavily in favor of the young persons? And as an extension to that, how techno-savvy is the nominee to be able to deal with this section of the population of Kenya, which is light and fast and techno-savvy? And finally, I want to know when the nominee served in the Rift Valley, and if it was around the time we had serious issues, what was his role? And does that help in giving the IEBC we are constituting credibility, or it will erode its credibility? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, honorable members. Honorable Hassan, those are the questions for now. Please answer each of them precisely. Don't take too long to explain yourself. Some of them, one sentence will actually answer the entire question that was asked. Right? We give you a bit of time to answer that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Chair, I want to respond to the first question. The first question relates to my CV, and it asks, what do I bring on board to IEBC? Mr. Chairman, as indicated in my CV, I have served this country, and I've served it in the breadth and width of this country. Mr. Chairman, I have served from the northern part, from Nadapal, all the way down. Nadapal is a border with South Sudan, all the way down to Trans Nzoia, to the Swam border, to the last settlement of Gituamba, down to Gotramogi in Bondo, all the way passing, having come through Kakamega and Western Kenya, where I served for 7 years as a DO and as a PC, all the way down to Kilgoris, to Gucha, down to Kilgoris, to the coast of Kenya, to Lamu at Kiunga, to all the way to border point 1 of Mandera. From there, along the border with the hills of Kiliwahiri, all the way to Turkana again. There is no place in this country I have not stepped. I bring an expansive geographical knowledge of this country that is second to none. That rich history, that rich knowledge of the geography of this country, the Chicago in Embu, Kiambu, and name anywhere in this country where I have not worked. I have literally stepped in every constituency of this country.
You've been to Marimanti?
Where?
Marimanti.
Marimanti.
You've been there?
I have been there. There's no place I have not stepped, Mr. Chairman, in this country, in my service.
Chair,
and
the nominee stepped in Nyamira because he has not served there.
Have you been to Nyamira?
Mr. Chairman,
because you didn't mention that one.
Mr. Chairman, as the PC in Nyanza, I oversaw Nyamira, and I was coordinating all the government business in Nyamira, and I have visited Nyamira n number of times. Mr. Chairman, I have a lot of attachment to that part of the region. That's where I got promoted as a PC when I was as a DC Gucha. Therefore, I bring knowledge to the commission that is second to none, Mr. Chairman. The other issue I bring to the commission, Mr. Chairman, is the knowledge in running of an election. Throughout my career, as a DO, as a DC, and as a PC, I have provided backroom support for the electoral process of this country over the years, where backroom support is requirement for security updates, requirement for logistical support, mobilizing all government resources to ensure that elections are conducted in a free and fair manner. I'll go to the next the question about the issue of provincial administration. But Mr. Chairman, I am a security practitioner and a security expert. I am sure IEBC requires somebody who has a full knowledge of the management structure of the security system of this country to be able to run an election, a comprehensive election in this country. Therefore, I bring, as a practitioner of security, I have been trained in paramilitary in this country. I have supervised elections over the years. I have supervised security officers, managed security officers at different levels of this country, and therefore I believe I bring on board a very important skill to IEBC. Thirdly, Mr. Chairman, IEBC cannot operate in isolation. It's not an island. IEBC works with other government agencies. And I bring on board a skill and network of knowledge of coordinating government businesses across the country. And therefore, I can be able to relate to the people in the field. I can relate to the people in the National Police Service. I can relate to the politics of this country. And therefore, I understand how to manage the election process by bringing this coordinative role of government networks to IEBC. Mr. Chairman, the other issue I bring on board, election is basically a conflict field. It's a conflict arena. And as a conflict arena, you have to have somebody who is well versed in conflict management. Throughout my working life as an administrator, I have managed conflict between communities. So, Chairman, I think in the years of 2007, 2008, 2006, I got posted to Rift Valley in 2006. And when I arrived there, the province was literally on fire. We had conflict between Pokots and Turkanas, Samburus and Turkanas, all the pastoral communities in the northern part of this country were at each other. Mr. Chairman, I managed to make sure that process of conflict was reduced to the minimal, and we brought everything to a peaceful, we brought peace and sanity in the province, and therefore, as a conflict manager, I have no doubt that I will be an asset to IEBC.
Now, tie that with provincial administration. Discredited for bungling elections. Bearing in mind, I think in 1988 you were DO, and we know exactly what you did even if we were in school then. We know exactly what happened in 1988 because it's purely provincial administration that handled those elections, and we know what the results were. So how do you marry that experience, which is negative, with what you've given us, which is very positive?
Tie that also with the 2007 situation in Rift Valley, because he was right there. Was he part of the problem or part of the solution?
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, provincial administration has had a history in this country, bad or good. It is a historical process in this country. And any institution and any organization is as good as the leadership and the political system of the time. It was never working in isolation. Provincial administration was not the people running election. Provincial administration was just an arm of government. Therefore, there was an election management body that was working on. It only provided support. It depended on how the system required it to provide the support at that time. I was a very young officer in...
Chair, I want to get this clearly. I want to new as about the provincial administration. But you agree there were some things that were done by the provincial administration that gave the elections that were conducted at that particular really a very bad name.
Mr. Chairman,
he has said actually that it depends on how he was told to do it.
Mr. Chairman.
So let's hear a little bit more of that.
Mr. Chairman, definitely every organization has its own excesses, and excesses can happen. I was a very young officer. I was barely 2 years old in service. I was inconsequential as far as the 1988 election is concerned. And from there we moved on to the 1992 multi-party democracy. Things changed. And therefore, there is definitely excesses. Every organization has its own dark history. It has its own advantages and disadvantages. There may have been excesses, but I was too young to make any difference at that time. And therefore, in 2007, Mr. Chairman, I was the provincial commissioner for Rift Valley. And when I arrived there, I told you there has been a lot of conflict within the region. In Molo, in Turkana, in Samburu, in all over across, in Trans Nzoia, everywhere there are conflicts. And we managed to bring the conflict down before the elections. Of course, elections happened and there was violence. Mr. Chairman, our work is very evident. During the run-up to the election is the time I was awarded the Best Public Officer of the Year. In 2007, I got the Kenya National Human Rights Commission Award as the Best Public Servant of the Year in the way we manage conflict in the province at that time. And therefore, politics being what it is, there was violence, there was an eruption. Of course, before violence erupts, political violence erupts, there are warnings. There are many things that happen. There have been incitement, there are inflammatory statements by leaders. So it happened. So our effort is well said in the reports that were released and in the statement that was made by Kofi Annan in Serena when he arrived after the tour of Rift Valley province. He said if there is one committee that has served this country at the height of the post-election violence and will require to be recognized is a committee led by the Provincial Commissioner for Rift Valley. Those statements are clear in the media. They are available, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much.
I was a solution. I want to say here that I was a solution. I provided the solution required to make sure that we minimized the loss of lives and property during the post-election violence. Mr. Chairman, suffice to add, after the election, after the post-election violence, I coined Operation Rudi Nyumbani. That was I coined that. Operation Rudi Nyumbani was my statement, my slogan, and returned people back to their farms. Within 90 days, we were able to return over 70% of the population back to their farms in a situation where conflict was really at its highest. Therefore, I believe, Mheshimiwa, I was a solution in the 2007-2008 post-election violence.
All right.
Very bad things have been said about anybody who has tried to remind people about what happened in 2007. The nominee appears to be part of the face of 2007. And I'm still asking him what his conscience is. Does he still, whether he did well or not, does he want to be part of the reminder of the 2007 situation, or he would rather recuse himself so that people don't stretch their minds back there? Thank you.
Answer that, then I will guide you on how to answer the rest of it.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I believe I can provide a solution. Having had a first-hand experience on what happened during that time, I can be able to navigate the process and help Iebc not to repeat what has happened in 2007.
Thank you very much. I was asking Iebc not to repeat what took place that time, but we don't want you to navigate anything similar to what took place. In fact, it should not happen at all. Thank you. Let's move on with the answers. How many have you answered now? We all became quite interested in what was happening in 2007. What, Mushira, yours is answered? Mufara, yours is answered? Dawood? What is yours? All right. Next, Makali. Makali, yours is answered. What is yours? What was yours? Oh, suitability. Yes, yours, just move on, sir. You don't have to look for it. I will remind you because I remember the questions. Article 88(2).
Mr. Chairman,
which prohibits you on two grounds. Confirm whether you've been a member of a political party and especially of its governing authority. Number two, you have run for elections before and you disqualified.
Mr. Chairman, I want to say I've never been a member of a governing body of a political party. It's true I ran for elections. And Article 88(2) speaks to the fact that you have to run for a county assembly, a national assembly. That's what it states. It doesn't talk about the executive governor's position or the presidency. That is my understanding and my reading. And that's on the basis of that I applied for this position.
Do you want to comment further slightly to say what is the rationale behind that reasoning? You were prohibited when you were a member of a county assembly or member of parliament. Parliament means National Assembly and Senate. Then the rest is silent. Do you know the rationale behind it?
Mr. Chairman, I truly don't know about it.
Thank you very much. We shall not take you further than that. Makali's question is on?
On provincial administration, the addendum is sneaking in. Yes.
It's alleged that you were not on the first list.
Yes.
But a second list resurfaced with a few, it had explanations and what have you.
Thank you.
You found yourself in the second list. What was your hand in that? What did you do?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, first of all, I'm a Kenyan. I'm a Kenyan and I qualify to apply for this position. And I did apply for this position. And I was on the 1,800 names that were put on the newspapers of the list. And I applied. My name was on the list of the 1,800. And there it is. All I see again is there's a list that has come out and there's an addendum that's come out. Mr. Chairman, I don't want to speak on behalf of or for the panel that did its work. It did its work, and I was shortlisted and interviewed like anybody else for this position. Mr. Chairman, as far as my understanding is concerned, an addendum it happens. If you have a tender process, for example, and the tender process requires you to fulfill certain conditions. Somewhere along the way, the tender process can also be amended. Say there are new items that have been added or something, some new regulation, but it has to be put to the public. It's not like something hidden under the table. So, Chairman, I have absolutely no hand in my name being on the list. I find myself on the list, and it's not only me. I'm along with other Kenyans, and we were all interviewed. Chairman, I want to leave it at that.
All right.
Before just for the sake of the consumers of Iebc, does he understand that his later inclusion appears to be an afterthought? I don't know by who. That is the worry with the Kenyans seeing him coming in the manner he came into the list. What does he have to say to that? To inspire Kenyans.
Do you think your inclusion was actually an afterthought by the selection panel or by other hands, or did you have any role to play in that?
I had no role to play, and yeah. I believe that my inclusion is a role that the panel has found it necessary to do, and therefore I found myself on the list, and I was glad. I asked for it, I applied for this position, and therefore when I found my name and I was included, I presented myself for the interview. And I want Kenyans to believe that, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Right, Honorable Karemba, yours only.
I had asked a very specific question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What was the specific question?
He's coming to you.
Okay.
Yes. What did you?
Ask that question. But he said, you can look into that camera and say you had no role at all in creating the addendum.
Mr. Chairman, I have no role. If I have a role of making myself to be a commissioner, surely, then I need not have applied. I mean, I have no role, Mr. Chairman. Absolutely.
Right, that is answered. Karemba, that is answered. Honorable Jindamolo, what was the question?
Chair, my question has not been answered.
Mr. Chairman.
You wrote on Makali's question.
No, I asked about a very specific issue.
Which one?
The relationship with
yes.
whoever.
All right. Not whoever. Not whoever.
A point of order. Chair,
what is the point of order?
The committee is bound by the rules of the House. You cannot discuss the conduct of a member of Parliament without a substantive motion on that. And in any case, it's speculation. All of us are members of Parliament. The members of Parliament who come from his own constituency who are his relatives, they are members, he has friends everywhere. Picking on Junet is, in my opinion, not acceptable unless there is a substantive motion on that to discuss.
There is going to be no discussion whatsoever on Junet at all.
Yeah.
But he's going to answer the allegations that have been brought in affidavits that he is actually Junet Mohammed's relative. That he has to answer, so that the members of public over there, when they see Commissioner Hassan Noor Hassan, yes, that is that is a cousin to Junet Mohammed. No, his brother-in-law. No, he's the other one. And we know it. All right? It's good to know. So, please answer Honorable Karemba's question. Are you related to Honorable Junet Mohammed?
Mr. Chairman, I am related to Honorable Junet Mohammed. I am his brother-in-law. Mr. Chairman, as his brother-in-law, I existed long before Junet was born. But I am Junet's brother-in-law. Completely different.
All right. I think that is answered, Karemba. Karemba,
Yeah, Chair, I don't have another question.
Yes.
That is exactly what I wanted.
That's the answer that has been given to the Republic of Kenya, and it's information. There is nothing wrong with being a brother-in-law to somebody, brother, cousin, whichever. But when you are discharging your duty, if this commission approves you, we will always bear that in mind, so that if there is any appearance of bias, it wasn't bias itself. Thank you very much. Let's hear from Honorable Otiende Amolo. Remind us your question, sir. Yours was answered.
He remembers.
He remembers. All right, answer that one if you remember.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Honorable Otiende Amolo asked about about my assets, my worth rather, my net worth. Mr. Chairman, yes. I have indicated my net worth. It's both movable and immovable assets. And I will answer that along with Honorable Mogaka's question that talked about my remuneration, the highest I have received and all that. Mr. Chairman, we all work and we earn salaries and we earn whatever we earn from the offices that we work for. Mr. Chairman, life is not just about just about salaries. The world has opportunities. Mr. Chairman, my assets are funded by banks. The liabilities I've indicated on that paper is just part of the process of what I have been paying over a period of years. And therefore my assets can be accounted for. They are houses. I have houses and 1 or 2 vehicles, cars, small cars. And therefore it is an accumulation of nearly 40 years of struggle of life, Mr. Chairman. I want it to be understood in that manner. It has nothing to do with integrity issues as far as I'm concerned. And therefore, that is my answer to that question.
In other words, you're telling Honorable Otiende Amolo to clock 40 years of service, reach that age bracket, then look back, compare himself with Hassan, Noor Hassan, and then he'll able to get the answer. Mogaka's is answered.
No, it isn't.
Let's hear Mogaka's. Which one is not answered, Mogaka? Hold on shortly.
I asked 3 questions. One was an offshoot from Honorable Otiende Amolo, and it has not been answered. What was the highest remuneration the nominee ever drew?
CAS.
How does that relate with the declared net worth?
Yes, although declared net worth has been answered in terms of the source. But let's hear about the highest net worth.
Chairman, the highest remuneration is CAS. It's within the range of 700,000 shillings.
Right, 700,000. That's the time that we
There were 2 other questions about.
Yes, what are the other 2 questions?
The demographics. Is he not too old to serve? Because answer says there was a time he was too young to make a difference. Is he now not too old?
Yes, are you too old to make a difference? That's the next arm of the whatever.
Mr. Chairman, I believe, given my wealth of experience, I am of right age to help the Iebc.
Thank you very much. That's a conviction.
Mr. Chairman, I also want to add that the composition of the current selection of the commissioners who have been nominated has a very young person amongst them to guide us as and when we go off track as far as age issues are concerned. But I believe I am of right age.
Right.
to help.
When they go off track, they will come to you, they will look upon you, and you shall be able to bring them back to track.
Isn't cheating that you already have a chair?
No,
person.
He's just said if we do it. Circumstances, what you are dealing with today. Honorable Mogaka, the third one was what?
That one was what was his role in the disturbances in Rift Valley?
I think that is answered. That one is answered.
So,
Honorable Farah, without making a long statement or defense, can you kindly do your point of order?
I just want to bring to the attention of my own colleagues here. I bought a plot in Slee in 1994 for 1 million shillings. I'm having an offer of 150 million shillings now for that. So sometimes when you look at the amount that's what somebody has now and the net value many years back, the difference is formidable. It's too big. So sometimes, even as a civil servant, if you made proper investments and wise investments, in today's market, it translates into something that many people would think.
All right, we've had the Honorable Farah. Honorable Farah, that's good enough. Senior Counsel.
I asked the question and I was satisfied.
Why is Honorable Farah answering?
I'm just trying to tell Akina Mogaka to invest now wisely.
I'm wondering why Honorable Farah is explaining especially that he bought a plot in Isli.
Right, Honorable Farah, that is enough.
Chair, at least the plot is in Isli and not in Nyamira, because it would not be 500 million.
Now,
Save now, if you want.
let's hear from Noor.
Chair, before you call him to respond, I have a letter here from the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. It says the Commission investigated allocations of procurement regards the National Youth Service, where Hassan Noor Hassan, and others were charged in court. Is that true? And if so, what were the results of those the charges?
Read the whole letter.
Yes.
All right, yes.
I just want to get it from him.
No, let's hear from him. Don't answer for him, please. Let him answer. Investigations on the NYS haste.
Chairman, it's true investigations were done. People were taken to court. I was amongst them. And we were acquitted for lack of evidence.
Thank you. That answers the first question of whether you have been convicted of any criminal offense in your lifetime. What is your answer?
Not really. I was not convicted, Mr. Chairman. I was not convicted.
Point of order, Chair.
Honorable Farah is out of order. He's only
Point of order, Chair. There is a person, I think it is Honorable Farah, who is answering questions for the nominee.
The Farah is out of order. Is he the one making you? Honorable Dawood, please don't incite other members against Honorable Farah, because that induces him to answer questions for the person who is being vetted, and that is not very fair. So, Honorable Dawood, don't make Honorable Farah answer questions.
And Chair, on the same note, on the same note, I would like to know when he was acquitted. When were you acquitted?
When were you acquitted of the charges?
Chairman, 2018.
In 2018. Right.
When was he charged? Because we need to relate those time. When was the plea taken and when was the acquittal?
I think, to be frank and honest, if there was an acquittal, then I don't think the rest of it is relevant. Yeah. If there was an acquittal, all those are it's nullification of what had taken place. So without delving into that, he confirms he's not been convicted of any criminal offense in the past. Have you been cited as having breached Chapter 6 of the Constitution on integrity and ethics at any one time?
No.
He answers no. Conflict of interest. You are going to Iebc, and there may be people in there who are your relatives or you have interest, you've done business with Iebc before. Do you have any conflict of interest with Iebc?
None. No relatives, no business with Iebc.
What would happen if a conflict arises in future?
Of course, I will declare, but I will not have anything to do with Iebc and its matters.
You will declare the conflict because that's what you're required to do.
Declare the conflict.
Right. Do you do any pro bono works? Pro bono means free to help the community in various ways. And where do you do that?
Mr. Chairman, we are involved in too many community activities of charity. Orphanages, helping the sick. We do that. It's all over. In Nairobi, in back.
Where do you do that? In which parts of the Republic?
In Mandera County.
Mandera County.
Yeah.
All right.
Is it we or you?
It is you, and maybe you could do with many other people, but you say I do with other people so that we know whom we are vetting. So as we conclude this, what is your plea to this committee, or what are your last words to this committee?
Mr. Chairman, my last word to the committee is to thank them sincerely for bravely putting questions that to me. Mr. Chairman, I believe that I bring on board what is required to navigate the electoral process of this country in the most peaceful manner. Having served and worked through whatever we have gone through the elections of this country, I think I can be able to provide the required support. Mr. Chairman, I want the committee to have faith in me, to have faith in my resolve. I can be able to stand firmly and say no when no is the answer. I will not be persuaded by anything against the law, and I promise that I will be able to do the best, to the best of my knowledge, and make sure that I put the country first in all my endeavor to run the electoral process if given the opportunity. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Noor. That concludes our discussion. We want to give you our decision now, and in fact, our decision is purely interminted in between because we have to take it to the House. You'll be hearing from the House of Parliament, the National Assembly, as regards the decision with everything you've given to us. We will consider and we'll make a recommendation. Then the House will make a decision. Otherwise, thank you so much for the engagement this afternoon. You are discharged. Please return to him his original documents. And Sanjit Tams, you may usher him out. And if there is coffee, offer him a cup.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.